Let's make a dog ramp. When I got to the big box store to get my lumber, I had to choose some wood. There's the regular white wood for about $8.50 some cents, then the premium pine, which wasn't that much more expensive, like $9.22 or something. And really the difference between the two is I tend to find the premium boards are straighter, less bow, less cupping. They have less knots in them, less grain pattern, whereas the regular white pine have a lot of grain and a lot of knots. So you kind of just got to choose what works for you. For this project, I bought 1/2 sheet of plywood, the 1/2 inch plywood. You can use 3/4 inch if you choose. I also bought 3 of the 1x3 8-foot boards and 3 of the 1x2 8-foot boards.
First cut on the saw.
Yes, this is the first cut on the saw. For those of you that don't follow me or know, my Delta table saw went kaput and I got a new saw stop. I upgraded, so I was excited and thought I'd get it on camera. I guess I'm cheesy like that. So busy getting my first cut on camera, I didn't tell you what I was doing. That plywood there is a 12x12 piece and it's gonna be the top platform. And then it's gonna be surrounded by a little edge, and that's what I'm cutting here is the edges, and these are different sizes. So this will eventually be the top platform of the doggy ramp. I'm cutting the legs of the platform at 27.5 inches long. Those of you that are new to woodworking, I want to point out something that you'll notice I'm using my fence for these cross cuts with my miter gauge. This is generally a no-no. However, I have a spacer there. Make sure if you're going to do this, you use that spacer before your table saw blade for a safe cut. Next step was to run some 1/2 inch dados. I used a 1/4 inch setup gauge to set the space between my fence and the dado stack, and the blades were set at a 1/2 inch, and surprisingly that was a perfect set for this 1/2 inch plywood. It's always wise, if you can, to go ahead and make all your dado cuts while you're set up, especially if you have a saw stop, because you got to change the brake pad. I went ahead and made my dados on the runners for the ramp as well. Here I'm cutting the ramp rails angle. This is the same angle that the ramp runs, which happens to be 34 degrees. I already know that because I've made these before, and I make that same cut on the actual ramp itself.
Okay, let's see where we're at. Kind of got almost everything cut. There's a few things we're going to cut later when we're assembling to get the actual measurement, but we'll get to those. 12x12 top platform supports, rails, whatever you want to call them. These are 12 and 5/8 long, 2 of them, and then you have 2 that are 11 and 1/8. Now the dados on these, the dados are set, and it will vary for you, but they are set to fit my material, which is roughly 1/2 inch. So you may have to adjust this. Also on my dados, and this can vary a little bit and yours won't be exact, is 1/4 inch from the edge, 7/16 in. So that measurement will depend on actually how long you cut these two. So you may have to readjust these unless you get it exactly to what I'm cutting it and your material is exactly like mine. So those measurements can fluctuate as you're going. Next, we got the legs. These are 27.5 inches long. We're going for a total height of 28 inches, so that leaves the 1/2 inch for the platform. We have rails for the ramp. Now, these have the same dado that the other ones have in them. I did all my dado cuts together. Make sure they're mirrored like this. If you cut them wrong, they won't match up with your miter. We have the ramp, which is made out of 1/2 inch material, 12 inches wide, same as the top platform, and a 34-degree miter. 34-degree miter was also on these. Not sure if I mentioned that. That's where we're at. I'm going to start putting some of this together. So hang tight.
The top platform goes together real easy. This is a quick dry run. As you can see, they snap in place, and that's it. So from here, I went ahead and put glue in all those grooves and glued it up. And at this time, I went ahead and did the same thing to the rail that runs along the ramp, has that groove, and it just snaps in on the side, and I went ahead and clamped it down and let both of these set for a couple hours. I'm using a couple pocket holes in each leg to screw into the top platform. The problem with what I'm doing though is I'm using 3/4 inch legs and 1/2 inch platforms. You kind of got to adjust your pocket hole jig. Well, the jig I set at 3/4 and the drill I set a little bit further down from 3/4. That way it goes a little deeper and the 1-inch screws that are meant for 1/2 inch material don't go through the material, but they also go into the material. Little tricky, but you kind of got to mess around with when you're using two different types of material and pocket holes. And for all the pocket hole haters, I'm using glue too, it's not structural. Once the top platform glue is dry enough, I went ahead and took off my clamps, and now it was time to apply those legs with the pocket holes that I just applied. These legs will also be glued with Titebond 2 and pocket holes applied and clamped. Pocket holes are more or less just to keep it in place, not a whole lot to do with structure. A little afterthought on this. If you want on yours, you could go ahead and put your pocket holes towards the side here. That way it's 3/4 and 3/4 and you don't have to worry about the underside. Let's see what the underside looks like. Yeah. Probably should have backed it off just a little bit more. There's a tiny bit coming through. But I'll just hit that with a cut off or grinding wheel and no big deal. But yeah, you could go into the side from the leg, go sideways. That would work. Got our legs drying, glue, pocket hole screws in. These will be nice and sturdy. Next thing I do on my design is I do some leg supports. You kind of got these long, lanky legs. I like to put some support somewhere in there. You can do it wherever you want, whatever looks good to you. Just this is that part where you wait to cut these until later because, you know, wood's bent and bowed and different stuff. So you want to make sure your measurements are exact. So see if I measure up here, it's 9.5. Cool. If I measure down here, it's 9 5/8. 1/8 inch difference. I'm surprised it's not more than that. Kind of same as up here, you know, we're going to want one here. So this is 6 inches. Down here, it's like 6 1/8. So it's a slight difference. So I always measure from here, the bottom close to the base. That way I can make sure these are all in line with that. If you measure up here, you're going to end up, this will help keep it in square, I think. I cut my little leg supports to the size needed. Then from there, I went from the bottom of each leg down, of course I had it upside down, 7 inches. And I did that all the way around so that way they're all uniform. I wanted to figure out how I was going to attach the ramp. In the past, I've done this differently. Pocket holes or some type of bottom support all becomes one big piece. But I had an idea for something new, something I'd never done before. And this new idea was using a French cleat. That way you can simply set it on there, use the ramp if you need to move it, and it'll be a 2-piece set. So very easy to move and come apart. Here I'm cutting the cleat that will be attached to the ramp. One edge of it will be 45 degree. That will go to the 45 degree cleat that will be attached to the tower. The other on the same side of that board, the opposite edge, will have the same degree as your ramp. In my case, it was 34 degrees. For the tower side, I had to make a little extension board for this so there was room for the cleat to have something, I guess, to attach it to. That's what I'm doing here. I just added this board, a little bit of glue and a couple little brad nails. This side's 34 degrees. This side goes to the board like that. Then that'll leave a 45 degree cleat to attach to the ramp. Then I just applied a little bit of wood glue and a couple brad nails coming in from the end and let that dry. Should be plenty strong enough. I went ahead and left that in my little chipmunk voice because I had a couple choice words for messing this up. And perfecto. Applying the French cleat was easy. A little bit of glue, pre-drilled some holes, added a couple screws. As far as the placement, I measured on the ramp from the edge of the ramp down to where the cleats will meet on each piece, and I made that the distance on the actual tower. Worked out perfect. And it doesn't get any better than that. Really excited about this. Boring old sanding. I went ahead and sanded all the places that I thought would be a little hard to get to later once I assemble everything. Time to add those leg supports. Remember, I cut these using the measurement closest to the platform. And from there, I'm going to attach it using pocket holes. You could attach this any way you want, dowels, however you want, any joinery method you'd like. I'm using pocket holes. One little tip is, one, you want to make sure you clamp these whenever you're screwing them in. And two, I would leave the longest one last. So kind of go around a circle, and the one that has the most length, drill it in last. It makes it a little easier to get in there and screw in those pocket hole screws. No need to really go into detail on this, but I sanded it down to 120 grit.
We now have the stand and the ramp. The ramp does seem a little steep. I made mine 28 inches high because that is right around the bed height. And I went a little longer on this to decrease the angle some. It is going to get carpet, so that helps for them to go up. If you wanted this to be less of an angle, you got a couple options. One, you could lower your stand and keep the 48 inches. It's going to change your angle. Or you can lengthen your ramp. So I've done them before where they take up the whole length of the bed. It's a little less of a climb and it gets them to the bed. I'm going to go ahead and go with this and see how the little guy likes it.
Now I'm going to make the little banister and railing. Yes, my ramps have banisters and railings. Not for the reason people often think, but it's to corral the dog down and up the stairs. The whole point of these is to get the dog from jumping on and off the bed. So if your dog hits the ramp or whatever you're making and just jumps off of it, it kind of defeats the purpose. So the handrail and banister corral them down. And it's very simple. Just cut some angles, and I use 1.5 inch pine stock to make this. For the horizontal banister runners, whatever you want to call them, I only use glue. I use just regular old Titebond 2 wood glue and clamp them down, let them set for about an hour. This way there's no screws or anything, and I think it just makes for a cleaner look.
Now I'm sure some of y'all are really good at math. Me personally, it's not my forte, and I tend to have to do a lot of it on here. And there would have been, I'm sure, a good formula to figure this out for making the angles on my banister. But there's another way to do it for those of you that are like me. I already know that this is 34 degrees. So we know our cut. That's easy. I know I want this to be right there. What I did is I measured from the top of that to the bottom of that. And that gave me my banister height. It's not perfect because I didn't measure exactly, but I want a little relief here anyways. So it actually works out really well. And then there we go. I'm going to do 4 of these and space them out evenly. But then the banister is also all on the inside. You don't want these like this because I feel like that creates a corner for your little fur baby to get hit on or whatever, or hurt. This makes for a nice smooth transition like that.
And I cut those with 34-degree angles as well to match the slope of the ramp. After getting my 4 pieces cut, I went ahead and spaced them out on the ramp, and I used an 1/8 inch spacer so that way I had the same relief all the way along it. Clamp them down, and that's it. Screw them in. Same thing as the other part. All the horizontal pieces I just glued, clamped, and let it dry. On the bottom of the feet, I went ahead and put a little chamfer. This is just to prevent any splintering or anything along the edges later on. My most popular final touch on these is to burn them with a torch. People love it. They usually sell best. And the final touch is adding some carpet. This makes it look a little nicer, and it also gives something for the little claws to grab onto to go up the ramp.